Hello, Guild Dragon here, and today we're going to discuss some Guild Wars 2. Now, my future plans are to cast PvP games and record a lot of World v World. Give a little lowdown on that stuff, but seeing as though the game is not yet released, nor been in open beta, I don't have any footage I can actually share. So today what we're going to do is take step 1 phase and visit a nice little website I found to maybe help us get excited about some of the classes and potential builds and all the reasons I want to play every single one of them. Well, except for maybe a ranger. Doesn't seem to be too exciting to me, but I'll include it anyways and give my reasons for each in their own separate video. So, without further ado, we will start with the Elementalist. So the Elementalist here, probably so far at this point, the most likely class I'm going to play right in the start. Probably focus most of my time on that. But as a chronic sufferer of alt-itis, who knows how long that would really last. I do tend to be the type that wants to explore every single nook and cranny of a game down to its deepest depths, regardless of any reasons, aside from the fact that I'm insane. Anyways, the Elementalist to me, right off the bat, seems to be the most varied type of class. Now, weapon choices are initially appearing to be little. As you can see, you can either equip a staff, a dagger, or a scepter in your main hand. These other ones, these are actually skills that do create weapons and give you further options, but seeing as how they're not actual basic weapon choices, it's not something that you will be using consistently, only on an occasion. Now, I'm going to select the staff first here. As you see, you can get the 5 fun skills immediately. But this is just for the fire attunement. And the wonderful power of the Elementalist is they have the ability to switch attunements and get varying abilities with each attunement, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses, which, as far as I can see, just immediately give so many different options available to you right off of the bat. Anything from a boring AFK type of grind, if you want, to just sticking in one stance, hurling around fireballs or what have you. Moving through the world at a leisurely and, dare I say, casual pace. It seems like it would work all right. The real intricate fun comes in the switching of the stances in mid-combat, much as the other classes will be switching their weapon skills in combat to gain various strengths on the fly, so to speak. In this case, the Elementalist, while having only an initial selection that's very limited, actually has, in my opinion, the largest selection of combinations available to him or her, or him and her, or it, I suppose, because I refuse to believe that Asara are sexual creatures. No, we're not having that. So first, I think what we'll do is look at probably what's going to be my main go-to build, probably for both PvE and PvP, which is going to be a dagger and dagger build. And choosing this specifically because in most other games I have played ranged classes nearly exclusively. Um, I'll admit to, oh, dare I say, lack of skill in melee, rather pathetically. But with this kind of class, and also with the necromancer most potentially, it feels different. Of course, the whole game feels different than anything else, which is grand in of itself. But the melee combat just seems to me more visceral and hands-on, and with the elementalist, the options available just, well, they excite me to the point that's why I'm making the video. And I suppose I'll start and go through and just talk about the basic abilities of each attunement, and go from there. So here's the Dragon's Claw, which I must admit to having a certain affinity to, for a few reasons. Name for one, and the cool visual effect it has as well, which kind of gives fire its basic fundamental fun right off the bat. It's just a basic attack, nothing fancy. It's like a triple claw type effect. Does some fairly decent damage, and it's kind of a medium range skill. You don't actually have to be right up there. Of course, you can't be miles away either. But it gives you a little more breathing room. You don't have to be right on top of your enemy, which is a very unique distance for a melee type of class, which when you need to be dodging around is great because it gives you a little more breathing room to do so. Next one here, currently Drake's Breath, is basically a fire breathing skill, and it shoots out a little cone of flames. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but it also applies a nice burning effect, which of course, lighting people on fire, I don't care where you're coming from, that's just fun. The next one is Burning Speed. Now, here's where we start getting into the more of the utility attack abilities. This one draws you into a straight line, straight ahead, preferably, I would imagine, towards an enemy. Or, I suppose, if you're running away, that would work as well, because it sets off a little path of burning fire behind you, which, of course, anything that steps in it catches on fire, which, as I said before, is nothing but a good thing. But additionally, this applies what we call combo fields. Combo fields are something that a class can put down in the environment that another class, or your class, if you're capable, can take advantage of. This is usually described as, firing an arrow or throwing a projectile through it. There are a few different other options available, which ArenaNet wants us to discover, and I'm very excited to. Anyways, either way, it'll, in this particular instance, set those projectiles on fire, so anything that they then hit get the initial damage of whatever ability was used, and in addition get set on fire, which, I don't know how many times I have to say, setting people on fire is fun. Yes, I do indeed have real-life experience with this. Another ability here is this Ring of Fire, which does a circle of flaming fire around you, which is not particularly, I would say, helpful if you're in melee range with an enemy, but it is extremely helpful in various tactical situations, i.e. If you're pulling or you're being swarmed by surrounding incoming invaders or enemies. It's going to be extremely exceptional in PvP for guarding a particular area. Of course, because anybody who walks through it gets set on fire. And last one here, of course, is the coup de grace, the grand fire skill, of which no fire person can be without. And this is a nice little conal ability that does some damage. It's pretty minimal. Unless they're on fire. Wahaha. And if they're not on fire, then I'm sorry, you're doing it wrong. So it does significantly more damage and has a fairly weighty cooldown to go along with it. And that is the Fire Tree. The Water Attunement. The Water Attunement is normally something that I would have picked up right away. Well, to be fair, it was indeed the first thing I looked at. Because generally, if there's water involved, it's ice, and I love my ice skills. Nothing like freezing your enemies. I like it. It's fun. But water is a little different. This is kind of more of a utility role. It's certainly not a high damage output stance, attunement, if you will. But goodbye. The first ability is the Vapor Blade. Now, this is the first basic attack. This has a little bit longer range than Dragon's Claw, so you definitely don't have to be as close. It's almost like a ranged attack, and it basically throws like a water boomerang that will go through the enemy and then hit them again on the way back if they're in the same position. In addition, it applies a vulnerability, which makes them more susceptible to attacks by everyone. And probably one of the most important tactical advantages in both PvE and PvP in this game is applying these conditions upon your foes to aid your companions and, of course, you in dealing more damage. And as everybody knows, more DPS means a faster early dead enemy. Buffs and remove debuffs from you to keep you mobile because you need to be dodging. You need to basically take as little damage as possible because everybody's a tank and everybody's their own healer, and of course everybody's their own DPS. So to really be efficient and effective, you need to take advantage of everything in your toolbox, and there's nothing like slowing down your enemies. Now, Armor of Frost is pretty great. Always, it's a nice little armor boost, and it if any enemies actually manage to hit you while this is up, then they're slowed, which of course allows you to escape much easier. This is a perfect combination ability with other attunements, which I will get into once I go over the rest of them. Healing Wave removes conditions and heals yourself and allies. That's pretty much all it is. This is a nice circular area of effect that just kind of heals, and that's pretty much about it. Nothing too fancy. It's a nice utility to have, though. Especially if you're in tight confinements, the whole group is there.